I don't even have anything funny to start this off with. What's up, YouTube? It's the NFL Week 10 Picks Against the Spread video for the 2019 NFL season. Congratulations to Bat Boy for going 10-4 against the spread. Good for 71%. Fat Guy, ourselves, Zip Vonal, probably your favorite name of the week, McCole Softwoman, and Bat Boy all go 10-4, but Bat Boy gets the t-shirt for hitting the over-under on the Monday night game right on the head. Picked it exact, 55 points. Do you have any words of congratulations for Bat Boy?
It was nice. It came down to the wire. We were actually the favorites because we had every score 47 and below. Didn't come to fruition, and I kind of like it. I don't want to win my own contest twice. So congratulations to everyone. I'm going to say in this top 10, though, there's a lot of key contributors, and we all enjoyed the game on the stream, if you can call it enjoyment. 888 is another player that plays every week and rarely gets a shout-out, so he's my tip of the hat this week, in addition to Bat Boy McCall Softwoman. Also, another contributor had a very good name in his Eggcorn name. Really keen ear on the show.
And for the overall picks against the spread, we got a couple games this week, but it's us, Satuple, and Picklass all tied for first at 78, 56, and 1. Good for 58.2%. Fat Guy, your thoughts?
In addition to Mickey Hill, East Steelers, Michael Rod's Detroit time gave for Fat Guy, Bo, and Serpaco to Pope, who was able to, after last week's win, jump over the 50% hump. What I want to speak of is the guys that are at the top, us included. There's going to be a regression to the mean. Now, this is people think that once you hit this pace, this is what things continue at. When you do really well, when you overrun expectations, you tend to regress. And I'm not trying to put a bad omen on us for the rest of the year or the rest of the participants, but it's a very likely thing that could happen in gambling. The median's around 56%, and picking every game, that's if you're really good, by the way. 56 is probably what we'll end up settling up around, because we've had like one bad week, and it's just things are going too good, let's say.
And that brings us to the overall, where we're 58% this year, 51 last year, 56 the year before in a short year. Fat Guy, it's been good for us so far.
Yeah, things have been going good. Been getting a little bit more attention because of the success. This strategy is a long one. We're never right on any one certain situation. It's a long game, and that's how you got to play it. And the proof's in the pudding. We've been picking straight up against the spread. You know, not picking New England to beat Miami. Nothing that easy. Tough against the spread bets, and we have a good record to stand by. So enough blowing jazz up our toots.
Yeah, can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
So remember, you can compete Week 10 at BigRyanTheFatGuy.com. If you're too lazy to go there, the link is in the description. So just head down, click that link, make your picks, see if you can be the next Bat Boy and win your shirt for next week. All right, Fat Guy, on to Thursday Night Football, where the LA Chargers travel to Oakland to take on the Raiders. Raiders 1-point underdogs at home. Only 29% of bettors are on the Raiders. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'm going to take Oakland. I actually quite like Oakland in this spot. Raiders had a good but tough game against the Lions that they were able to pull the victory off and cover the 2-point spread. It's a short week, and Gruden had been complaining about that, and a lot of the players don't like it. He says about preparation, but I like his natural preparation in how he gets his team, like how they're structured. Big, beefy offensive line, my type of team. But the reason I'm going to select them isn't for any handicapping purpose. It's for market purposes. Few people are on the Raiders because they're overvaluing the Chargers' win against the Green Bay Packers. We picked the Chargers last week because they were pretty much on a downer, but they're on a 2-game winning streak now. A road win in Chicago with a last-second miss by Eddie Pinheiro. I didn't say Eddie Pizarro. And also, too, then they just blew out the Packers. I think that's going to give them too much recent memory clout. Because don't forget, the whole season's the picture, not any 1 week. And I think the Raiders in this spot should be at least 2.5-point favorites. Now, there isn't a ton of meat on that bone, but I still think this is a strong play for me. It really is. I like the Oakland Raiders, and I don't mind taking just 1 point.
And for entertainment value, I do give this game 5 stars. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans are 3.5-point underdogs at home with 14% of early bettors on the Titans. Fat Guy, who you got?
I think everyone knows where Fat Guy's going on this one. We're going firmly on the Tennessee Titans. I quite like this game as well. This is Monday night, so a lot of this line, or a lot of the bet money is influenced based on the undecided nature of who's going to play at quarterback, with Mahomes coming back early. What's interesting about Mahomes coming back early is it might be to their detriment. Matt Moore has played quite well, and I'm not in any nature saying Matt Moore is a better player than Patrick Mahomes, but Matt Moore might be better than a injured Patrick Mahomes. You know, when you take away some of his tools, he might not be able to step into his throws. His mobility is hampered. It might be a little bit difficult because you don't quite exactly have experience when you're hurt playing. So that could end up working into the Titans' favor. Also, too, Matt Moore on the road is a 3.5-point favorite against Tennessee. I'll take Tennessee all day. Tennessee's defense is nothing to wave a finger at. I think it's a very strong defense. This team is a victim of uneven performances, I would say. The market doesn't like Tennessee. I can understand with their last loss against the Carolina Panthers, but I'm going to ride on Tennessee again. I like Tennessee this week.
And again, entertainment-wise, this is easily a 5-star game. Next up, the Buffalo Bills travel to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Browns 2.5-point favorites at home. 23% of early bettors are somehow on the Browns. Fat Guy, who you got?
I am a Browns fan, full disclosure, but you know my disdain for this coaching staff, management staff, and team and in general. And I want to preface this with saying I am 0-3 for Fat Guy's bets of the week. I didn't want to do them because I knew this would happen. Now, 3 is a small sample size, and anything could happen. You go 3-0, 0-3, 1-2, 2-1. There, I've covered them all. But for those fading me, you've done a really good job. You've hit a 100% win rate, which is better than what I've done on this season. So congratulations to you. So we're going to add a bet of the week to the Cleveland Browns. And now, does this make any sense? That's why we're taking them. Why would the bookmaker put out a 2.5-point favorite on the Browns?
I have no clue. In some places, this line has even gone up to 3.
3, yeah. And we're actually, to be perfectly honest, this 2.5-point favorite is with considerable juice. So this isn't quite. It's closer to 3. But we have to give ourselves a little bit of grace, considering we have to take a lot of bad early lines on injury uncertainty. So you're going to have to bear with us on the half point here. So it is cherry picked, as you could say. But I'm going to take Cleveland because the lines makers don't just put prices out just to lose. So something is real fishy about this game. This one's the weirdest one I've seen in some time. I really like the Cleveland Browns. They're listless. They're bad. They look bad. Buffalo is just a well-coached machine that is, I would say, overrunning expectation and Cleveland underrunning. So you're getting kind of those two good things going in your favor. The Browns being favored in this game is just bizarre to me. This should clearly be a Buffalo -3, I feel. But why would the odds makers put out something? It's probably to get you to bet on Buffalo. It's intriguing. It really, really is. And like Big Rye said, with reverse line movement, making Cleveland an even bigger favorite, it's safe to maybe say that either the book's moving it themselves or that 23% is betting at a much higher rate than the 77. So all of those factors going into it, this is a bet of the week for me. And if you can get it at 2.5 at reasonable juice, that would definitely be the way to go. If you have to lay 3, I still am going to do it. I'm going to be taking the Cleveland Browns this week as my bet of the week. And might I also add, if it keeps trending in Cleveland's direction, I'm actually going to bet even more, if that sounds crazy. If it slides back down towards Buffalo, then I'm going to be less inclined. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the forward thought process in game planning for this line movement. So I really like Cleveland Browns, singular. Well, they are a Brown stain, that is for sure. So, but look for this line and how it moves. And if it moves into the Buffalo territory, then it gives me a little bit less confidence. But if it continues to be a Cleveland play, either the line sticks firm or it moves even more in the favorite territory of the Cleveland Browns, I'd be betting even more money. Something's up with this game. It doesn't make sense. I'm taking the Cleveland Browns. I'm laying the points.
Fat Guy, you hit this one right on the head, and for all the reasons you said, to be perfectly honest, from an entertainment perspective, this game's getting 5 stars for me as well. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals travel to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 4.5-point favorites at home, with 35% of early bettors are on the Buccaneers. Fat guy, who you got?
This is, I'm confused again. You know, it's not just about certain things in my life. I'm confused about this game. 4.5-point favorites, the Bucs. A little bit interesting here. It follows the same type of pedigree as the Cleveland Browns, but it's not as lopsided. I'm going to be taking the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to be taking the points here. I know the public is on Arizona, but I think 4.5 is too many, and I just think this is maybe an inflated line because of the Seattle game. How Tampa Bay is able to take a team like Seattle into deep territory in their house. This is just a contest pick for me. I'm bewildered, but not in a good way like with the Cleveland game. I'm just going to take the Cardinals in the contest and the points. This is a no bet for me. Another really fishy one. Some interesting lines this week, I got to be honest. I'm not that confident. Last week I was very confident. Happened to pull through. There's some toughies this week.
Yeah, and I'm going to add on to this that I feel like as people continue to bet Arizona, this line's actually going to come down closer to 4, maybe 3.5, and probably even out more at a 50-50 split. So that's one of the reasons why the fat guy and I would not want to make any bets on this game. But
if you are, take it now.
Yeah, contest-wise, Arizona at 4.5 is nice. And seriously, who's better than watching the Cardinals? Who's better than watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play? From an entertainment perspective, this is an easy 5-star game for me. Next up, still on the Sunday early games, this is the Battle of New York. The Giants take on the Jets. Jets are at home, 2.5-point underdogs. 18% of bettors are on the Jets. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, I mean, if you lose to Miami, I'm obviously going to bet on you the next week. Jeez. The New York Jets, really? Yeah, I'm taking them. I'm only getting 2.5 points. I'm going to wait, and this will be a bet for me, to be honest, and in the contest. I'm going to try and get 3 or 3.5 if I can. I think both teams are kind of listless. I don't like the coaching in either teams. The Jets were just astoundingly bad at Miami. The Giants, that was I call it an uneven performance. It was a weird game. They could have won that game. They really could have beaten Dallas. I'm not a Shermer fan. I actually prefer Gase, although it feels like he's lost control of his team. Either way, those are two handicapping things, and I am more focused on the market. And the market in regards to contrarian theory favors the New York Jets, and that's what I'll be putting my money on. I like the gangrene. I'll take the New York Jets for a rebound performance against the New York Giants. Hey man, this is a real slop fest. The Giants are at home, if you can call it home, and I think I'd say the Jets are at home rather. I guess the Giants are too. It is in New York. Different stadiums though. I'm going to be taking the New York Jets, and I'll be taking the 2.5 points, but I want this line to creep up to 3, or if I'm greedy, 3.5. I just don't see that happening. Contest and bet-wise, I do like the New York Jets. I think they're going to be able to put up a performance against this New York Giants team that was very listless on this Monday night. I want to add a little thing that annoyed me. The tackling of Janoris Jenkins was so poor. It gave me a very disgusted afternoon, let's say. I'm hoping that continues against the Jets this weekend. So give me the Jets, and I'll take the small amount of points.
And one thing I want to highlight from an entertainment perspective, this game's in the Big Apple. It's not under the bright lights, but it's in the Big Apple. And anytime you hear Big Apple, you think entertainment. This game is easily a 5-star game for me. On to the next one. Atlanta at Nolans. Nolans, 13-point favorite. 64% of bettors are on the Saints. Fat guy, who you got?
Does anyone have instructions on how to dispose of a little person that looks like Gary Ridgway with glasses? If you can, let me know. BigRyanTheFatGuy@gmail.com. I'm going to be taking the Atlanta Falcons and the 13 points. This one's for you, Dylan Todfield. Cue the music. I'll take the Falcons, the 13 points. They're universally disliked by the betting public at this point. They're coming off a bye and another bad loss, let's say. The defense has just been atrocious. But I I do have a soft spot for maybe the talent the Falcons I know possess over some of the other bad teams. So they are capable of being the best of the worst, if that makes any sense. Saints are one of the best teams in the league, that's no doubt. But this is a divisional matchup, and I get a 13-point cushion. I can't ever lay 13 points as a favorite. It just goes against the ethos of the fat guy. So 13 as an underdog, I'm going to take it. Give me the Atlanta Falcons and the 13 points. A couple of mistakes going on here.
That's okay. This game's in a dome. Anytime you have a game in a dome with two offensive juggernauts like the Falcons and the Saints, from an entertainment perspective, this game's going to get 5 stars from me. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals are 10-point underdogs at home. 37% of bettors are on the Bengals. Fat guy, who you got?
I'm going to be taking the Cincinnati Bengals, the winless Cincinnati Bengals, the last team to not have a victory against. Are we going to call the Ravens the hottest team in the NFL right now?
I guess anytime you beat the Patriots.
When you beat the Patriots on primetime, I guess you're going to be called that. We took the Ravens last week, and we're very thankful that we did in their, I guess we're going to call it upset victory against the Patriots, although I didn't think it was too much of an upset. So the Patriots, they were down by the Ravens, so the Ravens are riding really high. Bengals have the least amount of clout in the league, I would say. Redskins aren't far behind, but Miami has churned in a couple good performances, so they're kind of out of the public's doghouse, I would say, in comparison. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals. Give me the 10 points. 37% is actually more than I thought would be betting on them at this spread. I thought it would be less, but it isn't. Maybe the public's catching on that double-digit dogs at home, especially in division, is generally a good play, and that's exactly what you have here with the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Ravens. Ravens are a far superior team, but in a matchup like this, it's still a professional sports team. They're not good, I get that, but historically, this is a good spot for the underdog, and I'm not gonna try and trump data. I'm gonna go with data. I'm gonna take the big data Bengals and give me the 10 points.
And I know you guys are thinking, Big Rye, you're so negative when it comes to these games and marking them for entertainment. But anytime you get to see Finley suit up for his first start for the Bengals, you gotta love it. This is a 5-star game, entertainment-wise. Throw on the Bengals. Thank me later.
Does anyone care whether it's Finley or Dalton? Really? That's another question I want to ask.
I have no clue. The last Sunday early game, Detroit Lions travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. Bears 2.5-point favorites at home. 25% of early bettors are on the Bears. Fat guy, who you got?
I'm going to be taking the Chicago Bears. The Bears again. They weren't able to get it done against Philadelphia. They put up 1 passing yard in the first half. How is that even possible? And I think it was 8 rushing yards. You know what I found really funny? Matt Nagy said he wasn't an idiot when he was talking about running the ball. I like how, like, the year after I think he was coach of the year last year, going 12-4 with the playoff-bound Bears. This team hasn't changed. What has changed is he's probably stolen a small amount of Andy Reid's playbook, used it all up last year, and now he's got nothing to go on. That's what it really feels like. And the other thing too is I really think they should start Chase Daniel. They haven't discussed a change at quarterback, but him putting more confidence in starting Mitchell Trubisky gives me the idea that is at least in the pantheon of what they're thinking. The Lions lost a tough one to the Oakland Raiders. I prefer the Bears here. I want to see the Bears defense have a good performance. The Lions receivers have really done a number in the last couple games. In particular, Marvin Jones. He has been a bright spot for this lowly Lions team. All of that being said, in this divisional matchup at home, I'm going to take the Chicago Bears because the public isn't backing them, and I can understand why. Especially when public likes big offense. They really do. And the Bears put up maybe the worst first half of offense in NFL history. 9 yards, it's just unbelievably bad. So I'm going to be definitely betting on a rebound. And hopefully they put cuter than Chase Daniels at quarterback. And make sure you line shop a little bit because this is at a bunch of different books for different prices. I think it's as high as 3 with bad juice and as low as 2.5 with good juice. And what does that mean? We're going to pay a higher commission and you're going to have to lay 3 points with 3 being a push. 2.5 with a lower commission, that's an extra 4 or 5% perhaps, depending on the juice sizing. And think about it this way: if you were investing long term over a year, and someone said you could pick bank A over bank B and get an extra 4% ROI for the year, you're not going to even think twice, even if it's a little bit further of a drive. So all of that means is just do your shopping, everyone. It's the theme of the show every week. The best line out is Bears minus 2.5. And yeah, I'm cherry picking the best line because I have to. I have to pick on Monday night. I have to pick well in advance, whether there's injury news or not. So you're going to have to give me the benefit of the doubt. And 2.5 with good juice is the best line. So Fat Guy is on the Bears.
And after you guys...
Bear on bear attack.
Bear on bear, just like how I like it. This game, what's so special about it is after you're done shopping for the best price, you find your produce, you find your baked goods, you sit down, you get a nice hot cup of cocoa, you turn on this game, and it's a 5-star entertainment value game. Anytime you get to watch the Bears at home with this Matt Nagy offense, it's exciting. You do it. You watch the game, you make your bets, you make your money, you thank Big Ryan the Fat Guy, and you
thank Big Ryan for this monologue.
Next up, the Miami Dolphins travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Colts 10.5-point favorites. 33% of bettors are on the Colts. Fat Guy, who you got?
All right, I'm gonna break a rule here, guys. I'm really gonna break a rule. The one thing that I don't like about it is I'm probably betting on Brian Hoyer, but I'm gonna take the Indianapolis Colts and I'm gonna lay 10.5 points. The public's on the Dolphins, and I can understand why. The Dolphins are coming off their first win, and I think 3 covers in a row, if memory serves me correctly. I don't think I've laid 10.5 points on this show. Oh, no. I laid 14 once, or 13, Pittsburgh at Oakland, and Oakland won the game outright, and I regretted that ever since. Well, we're going to see if the Colts make me regret this, but I'm going to lay 10.5 points with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not that confident with this one. This is definitely a contest pick, not a bet. The public favoring the Miami Dolphins I had mentioned for those reasons. The Colts, they're coming off a loss from a shanked field goal by possible future Hall of Famer Adam Vinatieri. I don't know if he's a shoo-in, I got to be honest. All of that being said, I'm gonna be taking the Colts, and I really do think if we just take it from a handicap perspective, this is a good roster versus a bad one. I don't know why this one couldn't be a blowout. I don't mind the Colts in this situation, but I'm not confident enough to put my money on them. In the contest, though, it'll be Colts all the way. Colts minus 10.5.
And this is an easy 5-star for me. Anytime you get to watch Baker, the linebacker for the Dolphins, you got to do it. The guy's been a star all year, and he gets 5 stars from me. Mm-hmm. Turn this game on, watch him play, enjoy it. All right, guys, next up, the Carolina Panthers travel to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers 5.5-point favorites at home, and it's pretty split evenly. Bet percentage-wise, 51 in Carolina, 49 on the Packers. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, this line opened at 7 and it got bet down, but that was 7 on a really early line in favor of the Packers. And the Packers, they really couldn't have looked worse, could they have, against the Los Angeles Chargers. I really like what Aaron Rodgers said at the press conference, that like we were 7-1, there was a lot of chatter, and we got a good slice of humble pie. That's exactly how a pro handles that situation.
And you know what I tell Aaron Rodgers? Relax, exactly. He knows how to handle the team. And did we pick the Chargers? Absolutely. But who am I going to pick this week? I'm going to pick the Packers. Minus 5.5. I mean, that's the best line available for the Packers. Actually, one just changed just as I was looking to 4.5. But we're still going to lay the 5.5. That's what's on the screen. Give you Carolina bettors just 1 point. So do your line shopping. That's really, really important. Really. Because laying 7 and laying 5.5 is a big difference. 7 glosses over 2 key numbers in 7 and 6. 5.5 is a reasonable lay. I like the Green Bay Packers for a bounce back. Kyle Allen's going to be starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. The Cam Newton rehab on his foot thing is still in. I don't know. It almost seems kind of phony. It seems like a good way to keep a quarterback controversy on the back burner. Kyle Allen's done a really good job, and I think he should be the starting quarterback for the Panthers in the future. But I really like the Green Bay Packers this week, and I don't mind laying 5.5 at all. I really want to see a good performance from the Packers D at home, which is more than capable, and Aaron Rodgers to go back to his Oakland 4 or 5 touchdown performance. Anytime our good friend Bloodbath gets a chance to watch the Cam Newton-less Panthers just destroy on the field. It's easily, for entertainment purposes, a 5-star game. Next up, the LA Rams travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Steelers 4-point underdogs at home and 26%. Fat Guy, just every game this week, it's just favorites getting these nice percentages. 26% for the Steelers. Fat Guy, who you got in this one?
Oh, I think we're saying it aloud. The Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're not getting as much credit as they're probably due with a very difficult win against the Colts. I mean, I understand that it was predicated on a last second field goal, but you got to remember though, in the median of things, if you were to simulate it, I think the Steelers come out on top just a little bit more. And of course, Brissett got injured. I understand that. And then you can say the Steelers got lucky. Dylan Todfield, cue the music, but it's still a victory. It still is, and it's just one of many things that could happen. The Rams are coming off a bye, I believe, and they are. I really think the Rams are a formidable team. I think the Rams have a good chance at winning this game. I'm not going to lay 4 points to do it. I like the Steelers' defense to be able to keep it close. They got another Minka Fitzpatrick pick 6 as well for the Steelers. I think the Steelers' defense is a strong unit, and I actually like putting my money on them. All that culminating in a bet on the Steelers and a contest selection on the Steelers. Steelers at home, and I get 4 points. Yeah, I'm going to do it.
And the reason why I'm going to give this game as well for entertainment purposes 5 stars is that you didn't pick the Steelers as the bet of your week for E-Steelers. So shout out to E-Steelers.
Yes.
And easy 5-star game. Let's move on to Sunday Night Football, where the Minnesota Vikings travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point favorites at home. 37% of early bettors are on the Cowboys. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, this is an exciting show, isn't it? I'm going to be taking the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to lay the 3 points. I don't love this game. I got to be honest. It's a contest pick. The Cowboys had I would say, uneven performance and actually a little bit reckless and undisciplined performance against the New York Giants, which those types of things, I guess they're fixable, but it doesn't give you betting confidence going in. But again, that's a handicapping. The market is pointing towards the Dallas Cowboys. The Vikings had we're going to call it a thriller against the Kansas City Chiefs, and weren't able to come away with a victory. A Harrison Butker long field goal for the Chiefs to move past the Vikings. I think this is a tight game. For the contest, I'll be laying the 3 points with the Dallas Cowboys. But I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see. This is as a fan, and as you'll say, a 5-star game. I think this is an interesting one to watch aesthetically because you're both two strong defenses squaring up on a Sunday night battle. So I'm going to be taking the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to be laying the 3 points. Sunday
night, nothing is better than sitting down, watching a game like this. But you're going to be surprised, Fat Guy. I'm actually only going to give this game 4 stars, and that's because there's a chance that Leighton Vander Esch might not get to play. Obviously, one of the best players in the game to watch. So this game only gets 4 stars for me. Next up, moving on to Monday night, where I can't even hold my excitement in. This is already a 5-star game from an entertainment perspective. Seahawks at San Francisco. San Fran 6-point favorites at home. 29% of early bettors on San Fran. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'm glad you turned up the energy for this excitement game of the week for you. I like the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm going to lay the 6 points. I don't love it. This is a very non-Fat Guy play, but the market factors are pointing towards a San Francisco bet and a San Francisco contest play in addition. Big Rye for Big Rye, this is a much bigger play than mine because the market factors are so strong on this primetime game between two primetime teams. See, it's just doubling down on excitement for you. Of course, Wilson was able to get the win against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I feel like everything kind of goes the Seahawks' way. They had a missed field goal by Greg Zuerlein in a tight one. The Tampa Bay Bucks, that game could have easily swung the Bucks' way, and they're able to win in overtime after winning the coin toss. And then what was another one? They had Cincinnati Bengals almost beat them on the road when they were at home. I feel like the Seahawks have had a lot of good fortune go their way. Even the Atlanta game I thought was in reach for the Falcons. None of those two strong teams. And I know I'm kind of using some handicapping history, but I'm just talking about when you think about good things that could happen, and a lot of good things have fallen their way, and not to say they haven't for San Francisco, who's sporting an undefeated record. But this is definitely a good clash. I think 6 points is a lot, but the market factors are making this a San Francisco play, even though I have some trepidations about it. I'd rather go with the weirdness of the Browns as my bet of the week than this one, but I will be laying the points and betting on the San Francisco 49ers in addition to a contest pick. Give me the Niners and I'll lay the points.
Fat Guy couldn't have said it any better than myself.
Well,
all market factors point towards San Francisco. San Francisco -6. Take that bet. So, Fat Guy, lightning round. Let's start off on Thursday night. LAC at Oakland.
Oakland Raiders.
On to the Sunday early games. Kansas City at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Buffalo at Cleveland.
Bet of the week, Cleveland Browns. Book it.
Arizona at Tampa Bay.
Arizona and the points.
Giants at Jets.
Jets and the points.
Atlanta at New Orleans.
Falcons and the points.
Baltimore at Cincy.
Bengals and the points.
The final Sunday early game. Detroit at Chicago.
Bears laying with the Bears.
We have 3 midday games. We'll start with Miami at Indy.
Indianapolis laying a big spread.
Carolina at Green Bay.
Green Bay laying the points.
Rams at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh taking the points.
And then on to Sunday night, the only 4-star game of the week. Minnesota at Dallas.
Laying points with Dallas.
And on Monday Night Football, Seattle at San Francisco.
San Francisco laying the points.
Well, thank you all for watching the NFL Week 10 Picks Against the Spread video. Fat Guy, do you have any last thoughts?
I'm sure they're really going to enjoy the new format that we've laid out this evening.